Hello. Yeah? Can everybody hear me like this? Good. It's a big audience actually, or is it just this part? Anyway, welcome everybody. Thanks for attending this session. My name is Hans Nieuwenhuis. I'm the founder and owner of FieldBuddy. It's a field service automation based on the Force.com platform. Before I'm going to start, I just want to get to know you a little bit better to understand what kind of audience I'm talking to. Who of you is a Salesforce ISV partner? Raise your hand. It's only two. Consulting partner? Customers? And the other ones are, who knows, right? And who of you has seen this slide for the first time on Dreamforce 2013? So I'm not your first session of this week. Okay, well, like I said, thank you for attending this session. Today I will be telling you a little bit about our product, our solution, and mainly the challenges that we encountered, how we solve them, and also leave some time for a demo and Q&A after the session. So this will be the agenda for today. I'm going to start with a little background about our company, and then dive straight into the content. We're actually from a company called Integris. We started off in 2009 as a Salesforce consulting partner. What we did as a consulting partner a lot of times is actually helping our customers to automate their sales, their field sales processes. So we've done a number of projects where we have actually taken the Sales Cloud from Salesforce and extended that into the field, and actually taking it onto the devices of the sales people. After we had done a couple of those projects, we thought, well, why are we not extending what we've already done a couple of times and extending that for the Service Cloud? So actually extending the Service Cloud into the field. And why do we not start to productize that? We saw an opportunity actually to do that. That was when FieldBuddy was born. We decided a year and a half to build our own field service automation solution based on the Force.com platform. So that's when we also became, next to a consulting partner from Salesforce, also an ISV partner. What I'm going to talk about today is actually one of the three components that our solution consists of. The three components are the Service Center, the mobile app, and the dispatch panel. The Service Center is where our customer would register their accounts, their contracts, their service requests, their work orders. But in the Service Center is also actually, as we're going to see in the demo later on, is where you configure also our solution and also configure our mobile application. Third one, the dispatch panel. It's a drag and drop dispatch panel for dispatching work orders to service technician. The focus today will be on the mobile app. It's also the title of the session, the anatomy of mobile application. Now, we had a number of objectives. When we started to design and to build our field service automation solution, we wanted the solution to support the end-to-end process. All the way from the moment a case or service request gets created, down to carrying out that work order, registering all the informations, up to the invoicing process. We also wanted the solution to work for multiple industries. That means we need a highly configurable product, but we want that configuration to be done without coding. So we want a point-and-click configuration possibility. And of course, we wouldn't be at Dreamforce if we wouldn't have a software as a service solution. So of course, it had to be offered as a service. Very important for field service automation solutions is that the mobile application is fully functional offline. So everything that can be done online should also be done offline. Service technicians might be in situations, in basements, in other situations where they will not have coverage. So they need to be able to continue even when offline. And last but not least, we want one version of the mobile application in the several app stores. We don't want several customers to have several versions of the application. So the complete configuration, the way the application works, the definition of the workflows, it should all be done remotely in our service center. We're going to show you this in the demo in just a couple of minutes. So now if you take a look at Force.com, you can actually see that Force.com already has a lot of the features that we needed inside. If you look at dynamic workflows, workflow rules, mobile page layouts, we needed mobile page layouts. Force.com has drag and drop customizable page layouts, validation rules, formulas, formula fields, etc., etc. So they are all features or components that are really helpful when you configure your workflow, when you configure your processes. But yeah, we needed it offline and mobile. So that was the biggest challenge. Now the way we did that, and I'm going to just show you a high-level overview of the framework. We used 3 frameworks to accomplish actually the objectives that we were after. First one, Force.com. Why? I think one of the reasons is to get a free ticket as a speaker on Dreamforce, but the main reason is I just gave you all the features already that we were after. Second one, Sencha Touch. It's a very nice JavaScript framework. I'm not a developer myself, but it's a good framework-based approach. It supports model, it supports MVC. It really contains all the right components for us to be able to have our page layouts customizable. We are even able to insert more complex formulas that we define by JavaScript libraries. And the last one, we are using Apache Cordova. It was used to called PhoneGap. So we only have to develop our application once, and we are now able to distribute our applications for Android, iOS, and Windows tablets. Now, how did we solve this? How did we actually make the application fully customizable and get all the good stuff from the Force.com platform onto an offline mobile application? We created a feature called mobile page layouts. We are just looking at the Force.com way of configuring pages, and we thought, well, we can learn from that. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. We want to stand on the shoulder of the giant in this case. So we created mobile page layouts. That means that in the service center, in the backend, we can actually configure the pages that the end user, the technician, will be looking at on his tablet. And it will all be metadata that will be synced every time the end user tablet will sync with the backend. It will not only get the data, but will get all the configuration data in as well. Real-time filter logic. This is something that is not even possible out of the box in Force.com. If you have your page layouts, sometimes you just want fields to appear or disappear based on values that you have punched in other fields. We can do that in our mobile application. Validation rules. It's all known to people who have worked with Salesforce. Validation rules, point and click, very easy to configure. We can do it in the same way. Roll-up summaries. I think there's a roll-up summary in my demo as well. I'm going to show you that we have actually have this one working. For the ones who do not know what roll-up summaries are, for example, you have an account, you have multiple opportunities, and you want to have the total value in dollars or the total number of opportunities for that account. You can create something like a roll-up summary. It will take up all the records underneath and roll it up to the account level. Formula fields. We are able to just punch in the formulas as you would in a formula field in Salesforce, and it will work on the tablet, in the application, offline. And that was actually the last most important one. All of these features, which is just a subset of the features of our mobile application, are fully functional offline. So I just want to take you to the demo now, where I will be showing you some of the features that I've just touched upon briefly to actually show how that works in our application. I'm going to have to switch to my backend. And double check if my iPad is still visible on the screen. Sorry, it is not visible at the moment. Yes, there it is. Great. So we're actually looking at this iPad over here, but you probably figured that out already. Okay, let's start. A lot of the workflows in the mobile application, they just consist of screens, of mobile pages. And in those mobile pages, there would be logic for validation rules, or there would be filter logic for showing parts or hiding parts, or there would be logic from jumping from one page to the other. Today, I'm just going to show one of those mobile pages that we have defined in our system. And I'm just going to add some fields, and I'm going to add some validation rules and show you how that all is real-time synced to the mobile application. So to contain all that information, to contain all the logic, we have created a number of custom objects in our application. The highest level is mobile pages. And the page we're going to look at today is the work order closure page. This is a page that the technician will open once he's done with his job, once he's done with registering all the informations like activities, parts, other expenses. He will log his time, and then he will go to the work order closure page, where he will say if he was able to actually fix the problem, put in some additional comments, etc., etc. So the work order closure page, as we can see, has one field set, one set of fields on that page. If I'm going to jump to my iPad now, we can actually see that we have one work order for today to be carried out between 1 and 5 o'clock today. I'm going to open up the work order, and for demo purposes, I already went through the workflow, so I can press the finish button, and it will open the work order overview page right now. So you can see 4 fields actually defined: the name, the closure status, comments from the technician, and number of activities. Now if I open up this field set, I can see those 4 fields defined here as well: the name, the status, comments for the back office, and the number of activities. And I can see that one of them is required. And we can see that as well on the iPad, that if I try to save the work order now, it will say, well, this is actually a required field. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a field set to that page. And since this session is limited in time, I've actually prepared a field set that I've thrown into the recycle bin. I'm going to get it out of the recycle bin now because it speeds up the demo a little bit. I have created one field set, payment information. When the technician is done with his job, there's obviously an invoicing process to start after that. So we need some payment information from the customer. I'm going to undelete that payment information field set and jump back to the work order closure page. And as we can see, we have 2 field sets now. So this just saves me some time because underneath this field set, there are already some fields defined. Now what do we see here? We have a payment method, which is type pick list. We have the name on, for example, a credit card or bank account name. We have a credit card type, which is a pick list as well. And we have a credit card number. And the credit card, there's also a credit card validation logic included. So I'm going to jump back to my mobile application. I'm going to press sync. And while it's syncing, this is also fully functional offline. But if I would take my iPad offline, it would disappear from the screen. So you just have to believe me on the offline part here. It's done syncing, so I finish off the page again. And I can see that those fields immediately have appeared on the screen. What I can also do now is to say, well, sometimes a technician he drives to a certain site, to an address, and in a consumer situation, it would be a customer that could not be at home. If the customer is not at home, the technician cannot actually perform the job. So it doesn't really make sense to put those fields on there then, to actually show those fields to the technician. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply some filter logic for this complete payment information field set. And I have a filter logic here prepared that says, I'm going to copy it over first, that says, if the closure status is not equal to customer at home, then yes, do show that field set. But if the customer is not at home, you do not have to show the payment information data. It's not necessary. So I'm going to save it up again. I will sync the application. And when that's done, it will show payment information. But if I say my closure status is customer not at home, those fields disappear. It's not needed. So I think this is pretty cool. It's not possible in the standard fields, standard page layouts in Force.com. We found a way to actually do this and still be able to define your fields in the same way you would as you would do in Force.com. Now, another one I'm going to show you. You can see here a separate field, a single field, and I'm going to say that the job is done and the work order is solved. You can see that I then have to punch in some payment information, and I have added a credit card validator. Now, I could punch in some simple formulas, like is there any information in the field at all? Or is the length for a MasterCard, is the length of the number, is it 16 positions? But what I've done here, and I'm going to show you what logic I've actually used. We are able in our solution to also add custom functions. So if it's getting more difficult than you would normally punch in a formula, you're able to create your own functions, to define your own functions and use them again in the formula field. Oh, there it is. And for the people who know static resources, these custom functions are stored as a static resource. I have a credit card. Excuse me. I have a credit card validator script here. I'm going to look at the file. I'm not going to explain it right now, but this is some piece of code that one of our developers has put in for me. And it has a credit card validate function. What I can do here, if I go back to the field, I can actually call that credit card validate function inside my formula. And as soon as I define this, all the necessary custom functions contained in JavaScript will be available offline in the app as well. So if you read this formula, it says, well, if your payment method is credit card and your validation is okay, then show valid. If it's not okay, then show invalid. All right, now, can I get somebody's credit card number to just test it out? No, okay. I know it tests MasterCard number, so you can see it's invalid. But if I type in 5555, 5555, 5555, 44, oh, sorry, 4444, valid. So 4447, for example, would not be valid, but 4444, according to this credit card validate, is valid. This is a test MasterCard. So feel free to use it and try to buy some stuff with it. 8 minutes left. I'm going to show you one more example of the way we can actually put in logic defined in the backend into the mobile application. I've done the demo just on one screen. Obviously, there's no time in these 30 minutes to show you the complete application. But feel free to come to us after the demo. There's one other thing I'm going to show you. I also mentioned the roll-up summaries. What I've done here is I defined a field number of activities. I'm actually going to show you how that is defined in the backend. It's on the work order closure page. It's within the field set work order status. And there I have a number of activities. And here you do a count on the number of activities where the name is equal to check pump cycling. And at the moment, that's only one activity that I have registered. If I go back to my activity screen and I add an activity, but I add the same activity, for example, save it up again, finish, and that is how the roll-up summary works. Same way as you're used to in Salesforce. For the demo, this was what I wanted to show you. I think, yeah, what we've done is actually quite useful. What we've done is also not reinventing the wheel, looking at what Force.com already has the number of features to offer. And I'm just trying to go to the next page, but it won't. Yes, but what did we learn? Took us a year and a half. So you're looking at about a year and a half of development. We're a small company. We're a 10 people company. So I can say there's quite some development time that went into our application, but we also learned a couple of things. Already mentioned it a couple of times. Don't reinvent the wheel. Look for a framework that will work for your solution, and also stick to that framework. We've chosen for the Force.com Sencha Cordova set of frameworks, and we're sticking to them. So don't start hacking all your own stuff into there, because sooner or later your application will break somewhere in the future. Get a friendly launching customer, and we found a friendly launching customer. Our first customer is a customer with about 400 field technicians, and it's been fully rolled out now to those 400 technicians. But you really need a launching customer, if you talk about these kind of numbers, to work with you, to thoroughly make your application the way it should work, make it stable, etc. Like I already said, feel free to contact us if you want to know more, if you want to dive deeper. And I think we have another 4 minutes left then for Q&A. Anybody? Yes?
Do you have to customize the app for each of your new customers, or can they basically customize it themselves?
The question was, can you do we have to customize it on a customer per customer basis, or can they configure it themselves? The answer is they can configure it themselves. If you have administrative Salesforce knowledge, you know how to do your point and click. You can actually configure it yourself. What we actually do is help the customer in 1 week, 2 weeks, or longer, whether this depends on the scope of the project, to help them set everything up. But theoretically, they could do it themselves. They don't have to go into code to start customizing things. They can do everything through the regular Salesforce administrative screens. Yeah. Any other questions? We are in the App Exchange. It's privately listed though. We just put our website live this morning. We've been very busy developing the application. So if you go to www.fieldbuddy.com, the website is just live, and we wanted to do that first because before we convert our App Exchange listing from private to public. It will happen probably tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Yeah, but we are in the App Exchange for about a year now, but we wanted to really prepare well before we just publicly list it. Yeah. Sorry? The pricing model is a software as a service model, so it's a price per user. There's no distinction between the type of user. We price our application in euros. The list price is 49 euros, and it doesn't matter whether you are a back office user or a field technician. Yeah. No? Yep.
Apart from mobile pages,
Mm-hmm.
the underlying data model, and approximately how many objects and
The question was, apart from the mobile pages, what kind of objects do you have in your application? What's kind of the size? Rough number. It's in the 30s, so it's somewhere around 30 objects in our application. The standard objects is only account and contact. All the rest is it's in our managed package in our application, like contract, service request, installations, locations. We have a dispatch panel, so we need all sorts of objects for keeping planning data, assignments from work orders to resources, groups of resources, capacity, skills, etc. So it's probably more than 30. I don't know. Between 30 and 40, I would say. Yeah.
is this catered to only field service?
At the moment, it's catered to field service, but we already see opportunities in other industries as well. For example, healthcare. The installation to service becomes the patient, and you don't really talk about technicians and work orders, but you have nurses that could be driving around helping patients, for example, elderly people. So we see opportunities in a totally different industry, like healthcare as well. The main two industries that we focus on at the moment are utilities and energy and telecommunications, because those are the industries with lots of technicians, lots of men in vans driving around. Yeah. I think it's yeah.
Does it work okay with the encryption engine?
Sorry.
If I have an encryption engine basically on Salesforce, will this app work?
The question is, will it also work with an encryption engine? I wouldn't have the straight answer to you now, so maybe we can take that offline to understand, because I think, because when the lady was coming back, I was asked to finish off the presentation. So thank you all for joining the session, and feel free to come by.